to this inaugural Wednesday summer walk and artist Dr. Michael Long. This show is called Cerulean Afternoon, and all of us at the Mood are really pleased to be presenting Michael's work. I'm gonna ask a few questions, we're gonna talk for a little bit, and then I'm gonna open it up to all of you for questions. And my name's Emma. So, a little bit of background. Michael was born and raised in New York City?
No, I was born in Queens, grew up in Nyack, New York.
Okay, born and raised in New York.
That's good, straight up.
Yeah. He's currently based in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where he teaches at Santa Fe Community College, as I think many of you know. In 2008, he got an MFA at the University of Colorado. In 2004, he got a BFA at the College of Santa Fe. And I think to begin, if you want to talk about kind of how painting begins for you and your practice around approaching a piece and knowing kind of what calls you to the page or the canvas.
Yeah, first I'd just like to thank Alison here in Rylan for getting me to this gallery. I think it's a wonderful gallery. I encourage you all to come back and see a lot of shows here. I think you're doing some fantastic stuff. So thank you. So I don't have any idea when I started painting. I just sit down with it. It's like an open book, whether it's a canvas or a piece of paper. And I just kind of sit quietly, and sometimes I'll do a little prayer, ask Spirit to come through and maybe guide me for what should come forth into the work. And then I just look up all my colors, and something calls to me, and I just take that color and go for it. And so every response is built off the response that I've just executed on top of the canvas. So what ends up at the end is just as much a surprise to me as the viewer behind me. And sometimes the paintings will take days, weeks, months, sometimes years. I'll just go back and revisit it.
Do you think that color, I don't know, has a personality, emotion for you? Is that kind of where you begin?
I think so. I have a real long history of photography too. There's always color. So color to me just speaks to me. I think there's a real vibration in color, and I've just been always attracted to it.
Yeah. And I guess, talk a little bit about why, you just mentioned photography. What has led you to painting? Has it been a lifelong kind of medium, or is it something that you...
Well, I grew up with a mother painter and a father photographer, and they didn't show me anything. They didn't show me anything. It was, I sort of just left on my own, so I was always making things. But I'd start off my life in my 20s learning guitar, and I had a couple of good bands. And at one point I got asked to be in a pretty well-known regional band. And so it was a little crossroads for me. Am I going to go towards music? But something said to me, no, I can't really express myself with music the way I can with painting. So at that point I decided I was in Austin, Texas. I moved right back to New York City and got into the Art Students League. And I studied under a very well-known painter, Richard Poussin Dart, who was contemporary of Jackson Pollock and Rothko and all that New York Expressionist group. And he was a very kind of a spiritual, soulful man. And it wasn't the kind of class that he told you what you do. He just sort of encouraged you to kind of express yourself, and that's kind of how I teach now. So that really got me going into painting, and I had really never stopped.
What was it like being in the student league? Was that...
It was just fantastic because there's people all around the world, and it was just so much creativity there. You know, New York is like, it's like the best and the worst of everything just kind of thrown there. You had all the galleries. Yeah, you had the museums, you had culture, and I was just a real aliveness, a great time in my life.
And is that, I mean, you talk about kind of that being a jumping off point to how you teach now. What led you to teaching?
I've always been a teacher. I grew up with 6 other brothers, and 5 of them younger, and I was always the one that helped them with their homework and just show them how to make things. I'm kind of naturally a teacher. And when I was at the Art Students League, I got an offer to teach an abstract painting class at the Rockland Center for the Arts, which was up in Nyack, or West Nyack. And I just got in there, and I just realized that this is what I love to do. Eventually, as an older person, when I was 44, I decided to get degrees. So actually, I did 2 years at community college here, then did 2 years at the College of Santa Fe, and then took a year off and got into graduate school. So I just feel like if I had those degrees, it would help me even more in my teaching.
It's a nice completion of the circle to be teaching there now.
Yeah, I love teaching. I love inspiring people and just having people sort of break the blocks of who they think they are and what they're supposed to be.
What's it like having both kind of your own personal practice and then simultaneously sharing that with students and people coming in kind of at all different points wanting to develop an artistic practice?
I think that's the operative word you use is sharing. I love sharing, whether I'm making something I have it up and displayed here, or I get to share my philosophies or my ideas how to create. And I really sort of don't really teach, I unteach. So many people come to there's art classes really isn't of how they're supposed to do it, or what kind of technique you're supposed to use. I get people try to get away from that and just express yourself. Let the painting take care of itself. And that's how I paint. Just let the painting take care of itself.